All right. So welcome. Good morning. So again, pull up a comfy chair, grab a warm drink of water, or I've got my coffee, and we're going to have a conversation. So first of all, disclaimer. Myself, Stephanie, we are not medical professionals. We are not doctors. And so we're not claiming any cure. This is not medical advice here. This is simply a conversation about general health principles, things that we should be doing all the time. And the purpose of this is to empower us to know that there are things we can do to boost our immune system. But nothing is specific to any virus going around. These are just really good habits that we should really be working on to put in place all the time. And as I'm going through it, there's going to be things that I know that I'm doing well at, but there's also things that I know I need to incorporate more in. So we're going to just be having conversations about that today. So I'm going to start with just a quote from a book I was reading from some naturopath doctors named Judith Thompson and Eli Camp. And they say, optimal immune function results from building healthy body systems, interacting with nature, like playing outdoors, reducing environmental toxins. It also includes making lifestyle choices, like incorporating a healthy diet, getting proper sleep, and providing a peaceful, safe, fun, and supportive life. So the 5 foundations of health that we're going to go through today is number 1, healthy diet of fresh food. Number 2, clean water. 3, proper rest. Number 4, exercise. And 5, emotional support, which is probably going to play a big role in what people are feeling and experiencing right now. So again, I need to have a conversation with you. So if you're just jumping on, please be active in the comments. So the first question that I want to hear from you is, what is your go-to kind of remedy or practice that you want to do when you just start to feel sick? Do you just layer up on vitamin C or garlic or rest? What do you do? Okay, so with a healthy diet, that's number 1. The main thing really is to limit toxins, because our world, unfortunately, is just full of toxins, and the more toxins that we are allowing into our body, the harder it is for our body to fight that off. So then when there's additional things like sickness come on, it's really hard. So we want to limit the amount. Hi Christine. Hi Anna. You're saying I'm here. Thank you. We just want to limit the amount of toxins that we have control over. There's a lot of toxins we don't have control in, sometimes the air we breathe, but food is something. So we want to eat as clean as possible. So what does that mean? You've probably heard this. This is going to be repeating, but avoiding fast food, especially now. We got to buckle down and not go through the drive-throughs right now. We really got to eat fresh, clean food. So we got to avoid anything that's packaged. Sugar is a big thing. Yes, it's natural source, but sugar is in itself a toxin, and it lowers our immune system. So especially when you feel you're not feeling well, that's the first thing that has to go is sugar. And it's hard because we're not feeling good and we want the comfort of sugar, but that's something that will help our body to then be able to react more optimally. So eating lots of fresh, clean vegetables. And I want to put that out there that if you're able, organic is best. And the reason being, a lot of our produce these days does carry with it some toxins. And so if we're able to go for the cleanest source, that's going to benefit us the most. And so when we're eating a lot of fresh fruits and vegetables, mostly vegetables, what we're getting in our body, and I like a little bit of biology, so you might get some words, don't tune me out, is phytonutrients. So what are phytonutrients? Those are the nutrients that are found in plants, which is phyto in Latin. And the plants, those nutrients are in them, and they're developed to protect the plant because they get a lot of things like ultraviolet radiation, predators, toxins, pests, pollution. So they actually develop a mechanism to fight against that. And so when we eat that, they have developed kind of a shield to protect the plant from all these different toxins and pollution and all that. So when we eat it, we're also able to benefit from those phytonutrients to help us protect from outside environmental toxins and even some viruses that go around. So that's why it's really important that we watch out that our vegetables are non-GMO, they're as fresh as you can get, and they're as clean as possible. So try as best you can to find organic sources, local if possible. I know it's if you have a choice between no veggies and and ones that are not, obviously go for what you can get, but if possible, that's what I'm saying. Also, clean sources of protein. So if your protein is meat, then again, you also want to look for clean sources. A lot of them, unfortunately, have hormones in them, so you want to look for grass-fed. And so we're just basically limiting the toxins that are coming into our body. Another thing to really load up on is good, healthy fats, because it's the fat, the good, healthy ones, so omega-3s, that will help our brain function and our nervous system. And the communication between them is what's going to help our immune system be up and ready and active. So some good sources of good, healthy fat is avocado, great for guacamole. Coconut oil, I have switched most of my cooking over to coconut oil because it is so healthy for you. It also has a high heat temperature, so whereas olive oil is also really great for salad dressing and cold things, coconut oil you can fry with and it won't deteriorate. So that's a great one. Nuts, seeds, chia seeds. I should have grabbed some just to show you, but chia seeds are super easy to incorporate into your diet all day because you can sprinkle them on anything. My cereal, my yogurt, veggies, stir fry, whatever you're eating, just sprinkle some chia seeds on and you've got extra fiber, extra omega-3s, and you're getting that brain health and healthy nervous system that you need. Okay, a few more people are hopping on. I'll read the comments in just a second. Okay, so physical immunity, it starts in our gut. So down here, you know, when you feel nervous before you public speak, you get nervous, the butterflies in your tummy, because that's where everything's happening and that's where health originates. So we need to really focus on good digestion. That is the cornerstone of our health, because that's where, when it comes into our gut, it allows the absorption of the healthy nutrients we need, but it also helps eliminate the toxins. So we need both of those processes to stay healthy. So what can we do to support our gut and our digestion? You can eat pre and probiotic foods. So some of the main ones are sauerkraut, kimchi, kefir, or you can take a supplement. And just as a side note, there's a bit of controversy over whether you should take a supplement every day. You do what's good for you. Personally, I'm under the belief that I'm going to do as much as I can to eat as healthy and as clean as possible to get all the nutrients, but I know I'm going to fall short. So I always add in a multivitamin and usually a probiotic every day just to make sure all my bases are covered and I've got what I need. And it's just unfortunate that our food is just falling short in the nutrient density that it used to be. So taking a supplement generally is a good idea, but also look for good quality. Probiotics, you can also give to your kids. I give probiotics even to my baby, like right from birth. You can get it in powder form. As a baby, I just put it on my finger and he just licks it off. Clean, obviously. And then my toddler, I just sprinkle some into his food. So it's good to help them develop a healthy immune system right from the get-go. Another thing you can do if you're having trouble with your digestion, if you're having that like aches and you can't quite digest things, an extra step you can take is just take a half a teaspoon of apple cider vinegar before your meals, and that will just help to break it down, and it kind of increases the digestive enzymes and secretions so that you're able to properly break down your food. Lastly, when you eat, just slow down. Be mindful of what you're eating. Chew more often and more thoroughly. That simple practice actually will really go a long way in supporting your digestion, because when you're chewing and breaking it up, you're just taking a lot of the work away from all the stuff in your stomach that has to do it. So those are just some simple things. Okay, so I'm going to read a couple of the comments that you guys have put. If you haven't yet, just tell me, what are your go-tos of health? So we see oil of oregano. Yes, that's very powerful. Lots of oranges. So yep, you got your vitamin C and phytonutrients. Okay, any other comments here? Let's open those up. What are your go-tos of health? Okay, I'm going to keep going, but I definitely want to hear this. So de-stressing, a run in nature, quiet evening with candles. Those are good. Very good. All right, so here are a few of my go-tos. Bone broth. Have you heard of bone broth before? That's why the whole chicken soup thing is so good when you're feeling sick. It's super easy to make. I'm making it today. So yesterday I made just a whole chicken, and then you take the bones or the carcass of that, stick it in a pot or an Instant Pot or a slow cooker, add some onions, and then you don't even have to put in full veggies. You can take the ends of the veggies that you're not going to eat because there's still nutrients in it and dump it in. And then save the good part of the carrot and celery for later. Oh, peppermint tea, vitamin C. Yeah, awesome. Those are good. Those are good. And then add a little bit of apple cider vinegar to help break it up, and some fill the pot up with water, sea salt, and any other herbs you've got, and then just let it simmer. And you're creating one of the best things for your gut. It actually creates a lining of protection over your gut. So bone broth is fantastic. It's basically soup broth, but the healthy version. The stuff at the store generally is not that great. Christine says, my Korean friend makes it. It's hard to find chicken and fresh fruits and veggies right now. Yes, I know it is hard. Things are scarce. So these are general principles just to do as often as you're able. Yeah. And so if there's nothing left at the grocery store but a non-organic veggie, grab that rather than the container on the shelf, because at least it's still live and active. Okay. Other things I do, like you guys, a lot of people are saying vitamin C, cooking with garlic, fresh garlic. Elderberries, anyone heard of that? It's really good. It tastes good. Kids love it. As long as they're over 1 year old, they can take it. Kind of tastes like sweet berries. You can get it in powder form or like a syrup, and you can add it to teas or yogurt, and it helps us, the immune system, supports it a lot. It's very anti-inflammatory, calming. It keeps your mucous membranes clear, so it's really good for colds and flus. It kind of limits the amount of time you might get sick. So that's a good one as well. A little recipe that I do for tea is you get some raw honey, a little bit of apple cider vinegar, up to a tablespoon, depending how sour you want it, and then fresh squeezed lemon and hot water. And it tastes delightful, and it'll just boost your immune system right up. Just have that a couple times a day. So I've been doing that just to kind of ward things off right now. And that's a nice recipe. Detox baths, if you're able to have a bath, you can soak for 20 minutes in as hot as water as you're able to, with 1 to 2 cups of Epsom salt, sea salts, and again, apple cider vinegar. So the salts are full of magnesium, which our body needs, and apple cider vinegar helps alkalize the body. So that's in a state where it's better to absorb things. Cool, haven't heard of those. Maybe sprouted seeds are easier to get right now. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and deliveries. So right now we're doing what we can. Yeah. And maybe we can post on the page if we see different sources of things as well. And lastly, I use essential oils, but I'll talk about that another time. Okay, so I'll just double check if there's more comments. I can see it on my computer easier. Yeah, good. Okay. So number 2, and Steph, did you have anything else you want to add? Steph is on the comments, unfortunately not able to get on the live video, just about food. So eating as clean as possible, as many fruits and vegetables, clean sources of protein, good fat. So those are the main points. Okay, and number 2 is clean water. So in the comments now, I want to know, how do you stay hydrated? Because we know it's important, but not everyone likes to drink water, or we forget, or we gravitate to coffee, like me, or pop, or juice, or whatever. But we know we need clean sources of hydration, water. So how do you do it? How do you remind yourself? Protein powder for kids, and my mom. Yeah, so there's different, if you go into health food stores, I found a good, it's actually not protein powder, Christine. It's actually a greens mix. So they've ground up greens to add to kids' smoothies. Ginger and lemon. Yes, ginger and lemon is super powerful. That's what adding it into the tea is good, and ginger as well. If you have fresh ground ginger, yes, so good. Thanks for those comments. Okay, so now, so is that, sorry, that's how you are adding your hydration, ginger and lemon tea, Christine? Or maybe that was from the comment before. So how do you remember to drink through the day and how do you stay hydrated? So in general, just as a general practice, we need to be drinking about half a person's body weight in ounces. I'm not good at math, so you figure that out or go look it up. But that's the general principle. An easy way to know if you or maybe your child is hydrated enough, you just look at your pee. Is it pale yellow? If it's too dark, orangey, you need more liquid. If it's light, that's good. Some vitamins will make your pee more bright and neon. So obviously check after you've taken your vitamins and you've gone after. So we need clean sources of water. If you're in BC, like we are, British Columbia, Canada, our water's pretty good. It's pretty good. It does have still a bit of junk in it that I don't like, but it is considerably better than a lot of other places. So if tap water is what we have, that's what we have, and it's not terrible here. But if you can get cleaner and cleaner, that is the best, because again, we want to limit the amount that our body has to fight off any junk that comes in, any toxins. There still is fluoride and some toxins in. Quick story, I spent a summer, I won't say where, but another province in Canada, and in their tap water, they have a really high, like way higher than I'm used to in BC, higher percentage of fluoride in their water. And I didn't have access to filtered water there. So I drank from the tap every day. And by the end of the summer, my eyelashes had fallen out, clumps of my hair had fallen out. And so I didn't realize that, but later I talked to a doctor and I dug deeper and realized, it was the high amount of fluoride that was in their water. What is a good multivitamin for breastfeeding? Yeah, there is a lot of different brands. I should have brought the one that I'm using. I'll send you a picture later, Christine, because I don't have it with me. But any that have folate, not folic acid. And yeah, I can go into that maybe another time. But there's some good multivitamins out there that will support your body and give you extra when you're breastfeeding because you're giving more. But sorry, I don't have it with me, so I'll send you a picture, and if other people are interested, let me know and I can send that too. Good question, very good question. Okay, so clean water. So if you don't have a filter, just something simple you can do to kind of help limit some of the garbage and the toxins that are in there is just boil your water. We actually do that a lot. We just put the kettle on, let it boil as much as you can, and then let it cool down, put it in a glass container, and then you can drink it later. Okay, so not everyone likes to drink water, but we know we should. So in the comments, what are your comments for how to drink more of it? How do you make it taste good? Anybody post anything about that? So while you're commenting, you can do so many great, like, adding infusion of fruit. So lemon water, lime water, adding berries to your water. Some mint leaves taste so good. It's so fresh. So if you don't like the taste of water, you can always make it taste better. If you like herbal teas, that is considered hydration and water. It's just the caffeine. I mean, hey, I'm not advocating not drink caffeine. I love coffee, but it's a diuretic. It dehydrates you a little bit. So you got to offset that with the amount of water that I posted earlier. Okay, so anybody else? I hope I'm not missing any comments as we're going. Oh, see, maybe. How do you get your water? All right. Continue to post. And if you haven't posted already of what is your go-to on how to stay healthy, I'd love to know that too. Like, what's your tips and tricks? I gave my tips earlier. If you're just joining on, you can watch the replay, and I want to hear what you do because we all do something different and they're all good. Okay, number 3 is proper rest. Oh, Steph says, I end up drinking a lot of hot drinks. Yeah, tea, cocoa powder, stevia. If it's non-caffeinated tea, is it hydrating? Yes. If it's non-caffeinated, it's hydrating. It's just the caffeine that acts as a diuretic to make it like it just dehydrates you. So you got to offset that. But yeah, non-caffeinated teas are great to, it counts as your water take. So Stephanie's in the comments, and I wanted her to talk about rest because she's really big on sleep right now. And we all have areas where we're probably good at or strong at, and then there's areas we're not. And the sleep is my problem. I'm not a good sleeper, and I don't prioritize it like I should. My kids have fantastic sleep routines, and it's fun, and we go through it, and it really winds them down, and they sleep generally good. Not last night though. I was up with my baby most of the night. But so that's not my forte. So I wanted Steph to actually talk about the sleep portion, but I wonder, can you do a little bit on the comment stuff for this? Otherwise I can keep going into the next category. Hi, Andrea. I see you just popped on. Let's see. And for the rest of us, I would love to hear, what is your sleep routine? How do you wind yourself down? How do you get a good, solid rest? Christine says, meal prep helps you stay healthy. Oh, yes, good. I go to food when I'm feeling stressed, and that is a part of me. Yes, so good, because you're pre-planning your healthy habits. You're putting it a priority. And so when the cravings and the stress hits, you have something solid to fall into. So that's really great advice, Christine, saying that you've got a meal plan for the week ahead and you know what's coming. Okay, so I'm going to read Steph. She says, sleep is the thing that we all know we need more of, but when we see the research, we understand a lot more seriously how much we need. Yes. Christine says, reading and no screens. Totally. When we watch a screen, the wires in our brain go and alertness, which I'm feeling right now, very alert. But that's not what we want when we sleep. So we want to turn off the tablet, turn off the phone, and a book. Yes, I love that you said that, Christine. Reading is so good. Anything else, Stephanie? Let's wait a second. So if you're just jumping on right now, the conversation is just sharing about healthy sleep habits, patterns. How do you do that? Basically, 8 hours is needed for optimal learning and memory. Yeah. You know, when you're a new mom and, physical adaptations, it's important. Good. When you're a new mom and you're just not getting the sleep you need, you notice it, like your memory goes. You're just not on. And because we're not getting that sleep that you need. Steph says it's important for our mood. Absolutely. Oh yeah. You feel more calm and able to handle situations when you have a good night rest. Less than 6 hours of sleep is exponentially detrimental. Yeah. I don't think most of us realize that. We just push and push, and we can get by, and we're like, yeah, I can live off 5, 6, 7 hours of sleep. Steph says, Why We Sleep is an amazing book written by an expert. Okay, so yeah, she has recommended this book several times. So if this is something, I need to read it. I have not yet. This is something that you struggle with, getting adequate, good rest, because that is foundation for your immune system. Our body just cannot function optimally without it. Then Steph has recommended this book, Why We Sleep. So that might be, if we're home and we don't have as much to do, maybe this is a great time to get it on Kindle or Amazon if they're still delivering soon. Yeah, great book to read, Why We Sleep. Light before bed is something to be mindful of. Turn down your house lights for an hour before bed. Yeah, and I was visiting Steph a few weekends ago, and I noticed she started using candles at night. Could go old school. That might be a really good way to limit the exposure of light before bed. Christine says, Rhythms of Renewal is a great book too. Okay, very good. Thanks for all these suggestions. Okay, I'm going to keep going. Excuse me. And I'll come back to these comments. So keep putting them in if you've got more to say about your go-tos on health, eating healthy, proper fresh food. We talked about clean water and now proper rest. So if you've got comments about any of those things, and now we're going to move into exercise, which I also hope, Steph, you'll jump into. So in the comments on this section, I just want to know, how do you stay active? And we're not talking about necessarily doing hard workouts in the gym. but just being active. How do you get out? How do you move your body? How do you get fresh air? That kind of thing. I'll read this last one from Steph. Your body temperature also affects sleep. If you take a hot bath before bed, it will help your internal temperature to drop when you get out of the tub. The cold is what helps you sleep, and your body, oh, it cut off for me. The cold is what helps you sleep, and your body warms when it wakes. Okay, that's great. That's good. So yeah, so turning down your heat maybe at night might be helpful. Okay, so keep these comments coming. Very good. So how do you stay active? So why is exercise so important for our health, specifically our immune system? Because that's what we're talking about today, is just boosting in general our immune system. So when we increase our heart rate, when we increase the amount and the depth of our breathing and the frequency of it, and when we sweat, this keeps our heart strong. It purifies our lungs, and it pumps the lymphatic system. So that system, what we talked about at the very beginning, is optimally helping all of our body systems. So the lymphatic system is our detox system, which we want to get rid of the toxins to be clean and have our immune system function properly. So our immune system is enhanced because we can properly eliminate those things. When we're moving and we get circulation going, fresh oxygenated blood is pumped to all of our body's organs so they work more effectively. If I'm just sitting here in a chair, my heart is pumping not very fast, and it's just kind of going a little more shallow. But when we work out, it gets flooded with it goes up and down my whole body. So all of the body systems are able to get fresh oxygenated, can't say that word, blood. So I just want to make mention of that. Along with exercise, fresh air is really important because our cells require oxygen to survive. And so, like I just mentioned, a lot of times we are just taking shallow breaths, and the air that's coming into us is very shallow, so it's very minimal, and it's usually indoors, stuffy air. So it's kind of like us eating fast food. You can get by, but it's not great. It's not feeding your body in the way that it needs. So we need to get outside if possible to get that fresh air, and we need to move our body enough so that the circulation is able to fill every cell with deep, fresh, oxygenated blood. So once a day, if you can't get outside, actually, even if you can, this is good practice. Once a day, open all your doors, all your windows, and just let it blow through. Like you want to create a wind current through your house and just let it blow for 10 minutes. If you're cold, just put on a house coat. I just grab my comfiest house coat, I wrap my babies up, and I just let the air kind of circulate through our house, because this will help purify the air in your home. Last year we live in an older house. We love it here, but it is older. And so we had a bit of a mold problem. And so I started researching and learning a lot about this. And when you bring the outside air in and it pushes that warm, stuffy air out, what you're doing is decreasing the moisture levels as well as just bringing fresh air in. But the moisture level is really important because mold and just the stuff we don't want, it thrives in moisture and heat. So, and that will lead to just a host of other health problems. You do not want to be living in a home where that is thriving. So you want to get the moisture level down. We actually bought something off Amazon that detects the moisture level in our homes. I'm always checking. It's got to be below 50%. If it's higher, you got to just blow the air out of your house. So that's a good practice to do once a day. Okay, I'll just check on the comments. That's the positive side. So many things get canceled, needing practice social spacing. We have time to be in nature. Yes, absolutely. Explore new areas. We're going to talk a bit about that even more on Thursday, about how to thrive in this time. And just one easy thing to do if you're able is go for a walk. You're going to be distanced from other people, but you're getting the fresh air that you need. And maybe you don't normally hike or go to the ocean. Now's a great time to go do that and really focus on just filling your body with fresh outdoor air, which is good. Open window at night is good while you sleep. Christine says, go for a walk once a day outside. Absolutely. Very good. Okay, loving these comments. Thank you. Okay, lastly, yeah, we've been going for just almost 40 minutes now, about half an hour. So our last section that we wanted to talk about today is emotional support. So number one was good, healthy, fresh foods to help lay a foundation of health. Number two was clean water. Number three was proper rest, so sleep. And number four was exercise. And now our last one is emotional support. And especially what is going on right now, things are just kind of triggering people in ways that maybe they haven't before, or bringing out feelings that they've kept at bay. So there's a lot of emotions. There's fear, there's a bit more stress and anxiety. And so we need to deal with that and discuss that and recognize what's happening inside of us, because that is also part of building a healthy immune system. So I'll talk about it from that perspective a little bit. So in the comments, I want to know ways that you incorporate, so you're already good at doing, or you just know, because sometimes we know things but we don't do them. So ways that you know or that you incorporate regularly, ways to lower stress and anxiety. This is not my forte, so I want to hear from you. My forte was more the food and the health tips, so I really want to hear from you. What are your ways to lower stress, anxiety, or maybe other symptoms, depression, how to lift yourself up, how to do that? I've got a few exercises for you, but I really want to hear from you in this, because I know there's going to be a wealth of information coming from each of you listening. Okay, so conveniently, we just also ended on exercise and deep breathing and how that's important for the immune system. But now, exercise and deep breathing, I want to show you how that also plays into our emotional health and well-being. Christine says, connecting with people. This is hard on introverts. I agree. So we're going to have to discuss on Thursday. That's actually going to be a big topic. How do we stay connected in a time of isolation? Steph says, deep breaths, always find the silver lining. Yes. Yeah. Finding the positive, spend time with carefree kids. That will definitely boost your mood. Okay, so deep breathing and exercise will help our emotional health. The Mayo Clinic says that exercise helps release anxiety in 3 ways. So first of all, it enhances your immune system, which lessens the chance of stress. When you're not sick, you have one less thing to be stressed about, anxiety and depression. So staying healthy is super important, if what we can do for that. Secondly, it releases the feel-good, relaxing brain chemicals. You've heard of endorphins. So that can lift us up, and that helps. So when you're exercising, you're going to feel less stressed during and after. You're doing a good stress by pushing your heart rate, but there's a release because you're pushing to the limit where you're able to release these chemical endorphins, and then you have the good feelings that and it will lift your mood up as well. It also increases body temperature, which helps people calm down. You take a hot bath, you get warm in a cozy blanket, and you just kind of relax a little bit. Exercise does that too, because it increases your body temperature. You've heard that deep and slow breathing is a good call when you're stressed out. I try to do that with my toddler. Take a deep breath, fill everything with that fresh oxygenated blood like we talked about earlier. But what's fascinating is the reason why it works so well. And so here's a little bit of biology. I love this stuff. Hopefully this will help you. So when you do your, maybe if you were in choir or a singer and you did those deep diaphragmatic breathing from your tummy, that is so powerful. It's a powerful technique to reduce stress and anxiety, because it triggers that nervous system response to your brain to say, I'm going into relaxation mode. And this is why. When we're stressed, there's 2 systems of the body. There's the sympathetic nervous system, and there's the parasympathetic nervous system. The sympathetic one is not very sympathetic, because that's your stressed out one. That is your fight or flight. And so when you're in that system, your body's, everything else kind of shuts down. It's put on hold. Your digestion gets put on hold. Just every part, your immune system gets put on hold because everything's in panic mode and survival mode. And that's key because we need to survive in those moments. If you got to run from a predator, you run. And it doesn't matter if you're trying to eat, or it's been told that animals in the wild, they stop giving birth midway if a predator comes. It's amazing, like what our bodies are capable of. They stop and they run because they're in fight or flight mode. That is good for a short period of time, and it's necessary for certain things. But if you're in that state for too long, you've neglected the rest of your body. And so your immune system cannot function in that state for too long. So the majority of the time, you need to move it over consciously into a relaxed, balanced, grounded, parasympathetic state. And that's where healing can happen, because the body is saying, okay, everything's good. I can now focus on my digestion. I can now focus on building those systems up in my body and letting the immune system work as optimally as it can. So that's why it's so important, especially in this time, to really focus on de-stressing and staying mindful and just in a way to ground ourselves. Okay, so it's natural and healthy to feel fear, but at the same time, we need to work through these things consciously. And I've heard someone say, as we're working through our own fear, be mindful of it, work through it, but let it have a chance to then transform into compassion and courage. I love that this person posted this on Facebook, that it's, yes, we have fear. That's normal. That will happen, but we need to recognize it and then work towards so that it can change into compassion and courage. Okay, let's read some of the comments. How do you lower your stress? Okay, Steph says, taking inventory of how you feel and noticing. Yeah, being mindful of your tension, your thoughts, your worries. That's the first step. Just noticing helps us to immediately lessen the stress. That's great. Steph says, these are a few of my favorite things, like the song, finding the little things. So sitting in her comfortable chair with a hot drink, seeing a sunrise, rearranging the furniture. Absolutely. Yeah, just taking your mind off of the negative stuff that's going on and focusing on whatever you can find that's positive, that will absolutely de-stress and lift you up. So keep posting comments. I'll have a look. Christine Gadd says, having something to look forward to in the day and having a routine. Yeah, absolutely. So I like that, Christine, you also posted earlier about a meal plan. So you're really planning success. You're saying, this is my day. Things will vary. You know, you can be flexible, but you've got something to run into. So if something hits like a stressful moment, you know, oh, but I've got this coming up. I can do that. I can take that one step. If you have to then process, what do I do next? What do I do next? Okay, the kids are running around crazy. We're getting stir crazy, and I just got hit with a wave of fear, and you feel like I can't do anything because you can't think. But if you've done the work beforehand, when you are grounded, oh, no, I just need to put that pot of boiling water on the stove and I need to start cooking dinner. Okay, I can do that. Yep, I've got that plan. I don't need to think about what am I having for dinner. I don't need to think about what's the next game I'm playing with my kid. I just look at my schedule. Yep, that's it. That can definitely help with lowering stress. That's a great tip, Christine. Thank you. Okay, I hope I'm not missing. I'm limited with what I can see at once in the comments, so hopefully I didn't miss. I'll look back at later as well. Okay, so a couple different exercises. I'm sure, again, you guys probably have a wealth of knowledge on techniques to lower stress. I have a few, but this isn't my strong point of knowledge. But one thing, I think it's already been kind of mentioned here, but just every night, grab a piece of paper and draw 2 columns. And on one side, just list everything. Get it out of your brain, out of your heart that's troubling you, that's worrying you, that maybe you're fearful of. Just get it outside of yourself onto paper. And then on the second column, you need to write as many good things, positive things, favorable things. And you need to have at least an equal amount of favorable things listed as there are troubling things, and try to do more. But you need to see that there is just as much or more favorable things in your life than there are troubling things. And that will help ease anxiety and stress on a daily basis. Other people will do a gratitude journal and just write everything that they are grateful for. And it literally, that is so powerful because it changes our perspective. We choose what we will dwell on. We can choose to dwell on the fear and the challenges, and then it kind of weighs us down, or we can choose to say, no, I'm going to look at this and I'm going to be careful. I'm going to be wise. I'm going to prepare and put in my health practices and what I have control over. But the things that I don't have control over, there's no benefit in me worrying about it. There's no benefit of it circulating in my mind or my heart because I can't do anything about it. So it leaves this unsettled tension. If I can just get it on paper and I can leave it and I focus on what I do have control over, huge perspective change, huge empowerment in yourself. Staff says, nice, Christine. That's a habit I've been wanting to add. Oh, did I miss something? Let me have a look. Christine, yes, your mom should come. I found a great journal with pens yesterday. So good to journal. Yes, calm, minimizing decisions. Good. Yeah. Okay. Another just very simple exercise is to serve others. Now, I know when you might be in the height of stress, you might feel, I don't have time, I don't have the energy, I don't have the capacity to think about others. But there is studies I've found that they tracked 77 people. I won't get into the details, but the results showed that on days when adults helped other people, they experienced less of the negative emotions than the stressful events would have triggered them. So they still went through stressful events, but they incorporated helping other people throughout their day, and they had the less stressful negative emotions. Same circumstances, but they experience the emotions less, the negative ones. So today, we need to be a little creative. How can we help people? So Christine mentioned it's hard even more for extroverts because we're being cut off from our friends and people who need to hug. That's hard if you crave that physical touch, and we're not able to right now. So let's be creative. How can we help people? We're going to talk a lot about this on Thursday, so I don't want to get into it too much. But in the next couple of days, just think about, what can I do to make a difference in someone's life? Is it a phone call? Is it a Facebook message? Is it a smile? I was out on a walk the other day, and I was just pleasantly surprised how much more eye contact and smiles people were offering. Like, it was like people had slowed down and started to notice one another, and we kept a healthy distance. But we have to get out. People have to walk their dogs. Kids need to run around, and we were just on the trail and just being friendly humans to one another, and things like that really do go a long way. Okay, lastly is just, I think Steph already talked about this in the comments, is just recognizing our thoughts. And sometimes our thoughts are sneaky and they lie, and it's when they go uninvestigated that they can provide emotional fuel for anxiety, anger, depression, stress, and then the thoughts and those feelings then lead into our behavior. So it's a really good practice just to question your thoughts. So the challenge that I'm going to put out to you is just start by noticing. Start by noticing what are the thoughts that are going into your head and coming out, and just question them. And when you feel sad, mad, nervous, anxious, maybe obsessive or out of control, just ask yourself, is this true? Is this true? What I just thought, is it actually accurate? Is it reality, like full reality? Or am I just feeling this or thinking this? And going back to the journal, recording your thoughts. So, that was an interesting thought, and I'm starting to feel anxious or mad or upset. Let's just put that thought on paper and then look at it objectively. Is this true? If it's not, I want you to write down what is the reality, what is truth. And that is going to be super powerful in grounding you and saying, okay, I'm feeling that way, and the thoughts are coming in, but this is actually my reality. Also, lies come into our head, and so do the same kind of practice. Okay, we are going to conclude. I've been talking a lot, and I really appreciate you guys staying on and having this conversation, but I don't want to overwhelm you. So I'll reread the quote that I said at the very beginning from Doctors Eli Camp and Drew Scott. They say optimal immune function results from building healthy body systems, interacting with nature, such as playing outdoors, reducing environmental toxins. We talked a lot about that. It also includes making lifestyle choices, like incorporating a healthy diet, getting proper sleep, and providing a peaceful, safe, fun, and supportive home life. So we talked about number one, getting as much a healthy diet of fresh foods, lots of vegetables if we can, to provide those phytonutrients to ward things off and to boost our immune system. Number two, getting lots of good sources of clean water or herbal tea or however you want to drink, but getting hydrated. Number three, proper rest, sleep in this time. Number four is exercise, movement, filling your body with fresh oxygenated blood is so important to optimize our cells' health. And lastly, emotional support and grounding ourselves and moving into a place of just peace. And the parasympathetic nervous system is where we experience healing. So those are my five pillars of health, which a lot of people will go to. So the challenge I want to leave to you today is, what is one area you're doing well in? So for instance, I think I'm doing well with drinking lots of water and herbal teas and just getting good hydration. And then what is one area you can improve on? So for me, I know that I need to improve on getting more rest and sleep. And I should probably read the book that Stephanie recommended in the comments. If you need that, go look in the comments as well. She posted it. And I just want to remind you about baby steps. So I shared a lot of information, and there's a lot of great comments as well that we can look back, but don't get overwhelmed because there's so much we can do. But every good habit just starts with one small step at a time. Because if we get overwhelmed and think, there's so much, and then you do nothing happens. But if you look and say, oh, okay, there's lots of good stuff out there, but you do one step, you're one step closer. And then the next day you do one more step. So every foundation, it is laid with one brick at a time. One brick at a time, one step at a time. So I want you to proactively think, okay, what are the things we discussed or things that you just know that you will help you build up your immune system and just to live a more healthy, optimal life in this time. What is one thing you can do today? Not two, just one. And then tomorrow, what's one more thing? And that's what I would like us to challenge ourselves with. Tomorrow we are back at 8:30 and we'll be doing a live workout. Tomorrow, I don't believe we need equipment. So just come, and I think the focus will be on core, if I pre-read that workout right. Stephanie can correct me if I'm wrong. And it's about 20 minutes. So show up at 8:30 and Steph will do all the tutorials. You don't need to have any background. Just bring your water. We do find either having a little whiteboard or a piece of paper and pen is helpful just to keep track of the rounds, and then you can kind of jot down the workout so you have it in front of you. You don't have to be looking at the screen as well. So that's tomorrow. And then Thursday, we'll be talking, kind of continuing this conversation, but just really talking about how can we thrive in this time. We might not be in full quarantine yet, but even if we get to that place, how to have a positive mindset and thrive and really just focus on what we can do and be empowered with what we can do in this time, and look for that silver lining as well, as someone mentioned. So thank you so much for joining me. This has been fun. I need to finish my coffee. I haven't drank it all. So enjoy the rest of your morning. Keep commenting if you're on the replay. We'll read the comments later, so feel free to add them as well. I hear my toddler knocking on the door, so it's time for me to go. Take care. Love you guys. Bye-bye.